Okay, picture the scene. Markham, Ontario. You know the kind of place I'm talking about. It's quiet, affluent. The kind of neighborhood where the lawns are just like perfectly manicured
Right.
and every driveway has space for 2 cars.
The Canadian dream.
Exactly. And are focusing on one house, a big brick 2-car garage home. If you were writing a script about the immigrant's success story, this is your opening shot. It just screams stability.
It really was the perfect set piece. You have the parents, Han and Bitchpan. They were refugees from Vietnam, arrived here with basically nothing,
Right.
worked these grueling jobs in auto parts manufacturing. I mean, hard manual labor. They saved every single penny to buy this dream home. They had $200,000 in the bank, a Mercedes, a Lexus.
Yeah.
They built the foundation.
And their kids were supposed to build the skyscraper on top of it. They had a son, Felix, and then the star of our deep dive today, Jennifer.
The golden child.
The golden child.
Yeah.
Piano prodigy at 4, figure skater with Olympic dreams. On paper, it's this incredibly inspiring story.
On paper, yeah. But we're not here to read the brochure. We're here to perform an autopsy on a family dynamic that went so wrong it ended with a hit squad walking through the front door.
A total system failure.
That's it. So the real question for us is, how does that golden child, how does she morph into someone who can hire killers to execute the very people who sacrificed everything for her?
Okay, so for this, I'm putting on my noir screenwriter hat. I'm looking for the plot holes, the scenes that just don't add up.
And I'll be the forensic psychologist. I'll explain what was breaking down inside that house psychologically while the neighborhood was asleep. Because this wasn't a sudden snap. It was a slow 4-year decay.
Let's start with the cold open then. The night the movie's genre completely shifted. November 8, 2010. It's a Monday night.
Totally mundane.
Han, the dad, is reading the news. Bitch, the mom, is soaking her feet. Jennifer's upstairs, probably watching TV.
And then chaos. 3 men just walk through the front door, guns drawn.
They take the parents down to the basement. They tie Jennifer to the banister upstairs. Then gunshots. And this leads to the most critical piece of evidence we have. The 911 call. Now, I've listened to this call. Jennifer manages to get her phone out of her waistband, calls 911. And on the surface, it's harrowing. She's screaming, "Help me, please, I need help."
It's high-pitched. It sounds like pure terror, like a daughter whose entire world is ending in that moment.
This is where we have to pause. As the psychologist looking at the evidence versus the behavior, things start to fall apart almost immediately, right?
Immediately, you apply that show don't tell principle, and it just doesn't add up.
Because while she's screaming for help, the police arrive and find
No forced entry.
absolutely none. The door wasn't kicked in, no windows were smashed.
And think about what the intruders didn't bring. If you're a professional crew hitting a house for a robbery, you bring tools, you bring zip ties, a crowbar, something.
Backpacks for the loot.
Right. They had none of that. And they didn't take the getaway car. The keys to the Lexus were sitting right there in plain view.
It's a robbery where they don't really steal anything of value. It makes no sense.
But the biggest plot hole, the thing that would bother any investigator, is the witness. Why would you leave a witness?
Exactly.
They shot the mother bitch 3 times. It was an execution. They shot the father, Han, in the face and shoulder. The intent was clearly to leave no survivors in that basement. So why leave the adult daughter upstairs unharmed?
It's a massive hole in the story. And then comes the twist that nobody, least of all Jennifer, saw coming.
The father survived.
Han didn't die.
And that changes everything. On that 911 call, if you listen very, very closely, at around the 34-second mark, you can hear moaning in the background.
That's him. That's on Pan. He's just crawled up from the basement, bleeding from the face, having just watched his wife be murdered.
Can you just imagine that scene? He gets upstairs, expecting to see his daughter also dead, but instead, he sees her on the phone. And he remembers something. He remembers just minutes before seeing his daughter talking to one of the intruders.
How did he describe it?
He said she was speaking softly to him, like a friend. And crucially, he noticed her hands were not tied at that moment.
So the scream on the 911 call, it wasn't terror.
It was a performance. It was the final act of a fictional character Jennifer had been playing for years. In those quiet Markham streets, the first casualty wasn't a person. It was the truth.
Okay, so let's flash back. Because to get the murder, you have to understand this labyrinth of lies. It didn't start with a hitman. It started with a report card.
It started with what we call the perfectionist system. Jennifer was, an average student, mostly getting B's. In a lot of families, that's great.
Sure, B's are fine.
But in the Pan household, B's were seen as failure. And in that kind of rigid, high-control environment, failure isn't just a mistake, it's a moral failing. You've let everyone down.
So what does she do? Grade 9, she gets out the scissors, the glue, a photocopier, and she starts forging straight A's. And it worked.
And once you learn that a lie protects you from that kind of pain, from your parents' disappointment, it becomes a survival mechanism. It's almost addictive. Lie equals safety. Truth equals punishment.
But the scale of it, this is what blows my mind. This isn't just lying about a party. This was a 4-year phantom life. She didn't graduate high school because she failed calculus, but she told her parents she got into Ryerson University.
And then she escalated it. Told them she'd transferred to the prestigious pharmacology program at the University of Toronto, which is exactly what her father wanted for her. It was his dream.
So for years, every day, she'd pack her bag for school and do this silent commute. She'd take the bus downtown and go to public library.
Just sit there all day, taking notes on random science topics so her notebooks looked real. Think about the mental energy that requires, the constant vigilance. She even bought old textbooks to leave around the house as props.
She lived in a ghost world, a complete fabrication. She was working at a pizza place, living part-time with her boyfriend, Daniel Wong, all while telling her parents she was staying with a friend to be closer to campus.
And the graduation lie it's just a masterclass in manipulation.
How did she explain that?
She told them the class size was so big there weren't enough tickets for both of them to come. She said she gave her only ticket to a friend so that neither of them would feel left out.
That's heartbreakingly clever.
She even described this mindset later. She said, "I tried looking at myself in the third person. Rationalizations in my head said I had to keep going." That's a textbook description of dissociation. She was detaching from her own life to survive it.
She was basically the writer, director, and star of a movie that didn't exist.
Right.
But a plot hole that big can't stay open forever. And the whole thing came crashing down over something so small, a volunteer gig.
She claimed she was volunteering at Sick Kids Hospital. Han, being a very involved dad, wanted to drop her off one day. He noticed she didn't have a uniform or an ID badge.
He gets suspicious.
He drops her off, but he tells his wife, "Bitch, follow her."
The game is up.
Well, she hid in the waiting room for hours until they left, but the next morning they called the friend she was supposedly staying with. The friend, half asleep, told the truth. Jennifer wasn't there.
And the whole house of cards just collapses. They confront her. She admits everything. Not a volunteer, not in university, living with her boyfriend. And oh, by the way, I never even graduated high school.
The reaction was explosive, but the result was a total lockdown.
And this brings us to the next phase, the psychological decay. We have to talk about tiger parenting here. The sources call Han a classic tiger dad, but what does that really mean in this case?
Right, and it's a term that gets thrown around a lot. It basically describes a style that puts academic achievement above everything else, often using really strict control. In the Pan house, it seems love was conditional. The message she got was, if you achieve, we love you. If you fail, you are a source of shame.
It's a binary existence. You're either a success or you're a disgrace, nothing in between.
Exactly, and the rules were intense. No parties, no school dances, definitely no boyfriends until after university. And when she was younger and didn't win skating competitions, she started cutting herself. Small cuts on her arms.
The pressure valve.
It's a way to cope with overwhelming emotion when you can't express it outwardly. She talked about developing a happy mask, smiling on the outside, crumbling on the inside.
So now, at 24 years old, the lies are exposed, and she's basically grounded.
Literally, they took her phone, her laptop, they started tracking the mileage on her car to make sure she was only going to her piano teaching job and straight back home.
She wrote on Facebook, "Living in my house is like living under house arrest."
And that's the incubation period for the murder plot. Her parents were no longer protectors in her mind, they were her jailers.
And the final push wasn't just about freedom. It was about love, or the loss of it.
Daniel Wong, her boyfriend. He was her only connection to the outside world, but he broke up with her. He was tired of all the lies and the sneaking around.
And this is where Jennifer's behavior shifts from, say, desperate to truly malignant. To get him back, She invents a story about being gang raped.
It's a crucial detail. She tells Daniel that men broke into the house, assaulted her, and even sent her a bullet in the mail as a threat. She claimed it was all orchestrated by his new girlfriend.
That's completely detached from reality.
It's profoundly manipulative. It shows a willingness to use these narratives of extreme violence to control people. And when that didn't fully work to win him back, the narrative in her head shifted from I am a victim to I need to eliminate the obstacle.
The obstacle being her parents. And the plan wasn't just for freedom, was it?
No, it was about the inheritance. About $500,000. If she just leaves, she's broke. If they die, she gets the money and the freedom to be with Daniel. It was a cold transactional calculation.
She tried to hire one guy who just stole her money. Then she found another contact, homeboy, Lenford Crawford.
And the texts between them are chilling, just so casual. Game time. Talking about a $10,000 price.
So that brings us to the end. The plan is set. The signal is the light in the study.
She just flicks it on and off, the green light for the killers to walk through the unlocked door.
We know what happens next.
Yeah.
The gunshots. The tragedy. But the plan failed in the worst possible way for her. Her father lived.
And his survival is where the real horror begins. Jennifer is arrested, and she spins these absurd stories. First, it was a home invasion. Then she claims she hired them to kill her as a sort of botched suicide, and they got confused.
Which makes zero sense. I hired them to kill me, so they shot my mom 3 times and left me completely unharmed.
The jury didn't buy it for a second. Jennifer, Daniel, the hitmen, they all got life sentences. But the real lingering tragedy here is Han.
His victim impact statement. It's one of the saddest things I've ever read. He wrote, "When I lost my wife, I lost my daughter. I feel like I am dead too."
He can't work. He has nightmares. He has bullet fragments in his face they can't remove. His whole life's work, that immigrant success story, it was all just a stage for his own attempted murder.
And their son, Felix,
Moved to the other side of the country to escape the family name. The entire family unit was just obliterated.
it brings you back to that whole golden child idea, doesn't it? We see these high-achieving families, and we celebrate the results, the trophies.
But we never ask about the cost of production. Look, Jennifer Pan is responsible for her actions. She hired killers. But she was also a product of a system that taught her, you are only worth what you achieve. And when the achievement fails, the person just disappears.
It's the ultimate dark irony. She wanted freedom from her parents' expectations, and now she's in a cell, completely free of them, but trapped.
And Han lives in his own prison, a prison of memory, knowing that the last nice conversation his daughter had was with the man about to shoot him.
There's one last detail from the source material that really sticks with me. Han tried to sell the house, that big, beautiful symbol of their success.
And nobody wants to buy it.
It just sits there, a monument to a dream that became an absolute nightmare.
It really forces you to question your own definitions of success, you know? If the facade looks perfect, but the foundation is rotten, a collapse isn't just possible, it's inevitable.
And that's where we're going to leave it for this deep dive. A story about a scream that was a performance, and a success story that was a tragedy.
It's a heavy one.
It is. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves, and maybe check in on the people behind the trophies in your own life.
Good advice. Talk to you next time.
This case is closed, but the darkness remains. Your next dossier is ready, and it's even more disturbing than this one. Click here to open it.